Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Real Talk with Rayne. And today I'm with Gabe.
That's me. Hello.
We're talking about celebrity worship today. And, just, I guess on both sides of it, I have thoughts
Mhm.
because, you know, I'm not a celebrity. And I don't know how that life is, but I can only assume that it's I almost feel like it's probably demeaning in a lot of ways. Like when you become a celebrity, you almost become more of a product rather than like a person. And people think that they are entitled to your time and your privacy. So I think personally, I don't know why people worship celebrities. I do in like a joking way. Like Idina Menzel is my idol. Like, oh my God. But I also know that, like, she's still just a person that
Mhm.
doing a job. That doesn't mean that I wouldn't faint if I met her. I would, but that's just because she's done something that, she's helped me find a gift that really helped save my life with singing. So she's, very much a hero to me in that way. I feel like people who I'm seeing it more and more often right now on social media who are just like constantly getting upset with celebrities if they don't wanna take pictures with them or they don't wanna sign something, and it just at the end of the day, I'm like, I can't even imagine, like, feeling that I don't have the right to my own privacy in my own home and, like, I'm always gonna, like, be watched around every corner.
Yeah.
I just feel like the fame almost isn't worth it.
I agree with that entirely. Like, I think we're cut from the same cloth where it's just like we all have our idols, we all have our celebrities that we're like gonna be starstruck in front of. Like even for me, voice actors, like I would go see voice actors at cons and I would literally have my wife go over there on my behalf to have stuff signed for me because I would be too starstruck and too embarrassed to like talk to them. But but
Mhm.
I wouldn't like that's, like, fine because that's, like, a con, that's, like, a
Yeah,
controlled environment. I would not then search out that voice actor outside of that con
right.
or anything because that's a boundary that I feel like a lot of people, sometimes don't understand is there, especially with, like, the rise of social media where it's like, now we can see more into the lives of these celebrities, and it's almost like, as you said, they're treated as this spectacle and they don't have privacy, they're not allowed to have a life, and then they're told in the same breath, like, "This is what you signed up for," and it's like, that's not fair. That's not fair to be like, "Oh, this is your dream and this is what it costs." Like, it shouldn't cost anything to do a job. No one is harassing me at my 9 to 5
Mhm.
because that's the cost of me doing my job. Like, that should never be a stipulation of a career.
Yeah, and I think it's a lot of, I guess, maybe the human services person in me that I see people at the very core of who they are, and I mean, I see celebrities lashing out, and a lot of times I'm wondering if it's because it's been building up for so long, and it's
Mhm.
been like they feel like they can't be themselves or like they can't say anything, they can't live their life. I almost wonder if some celebrities feel like, I miss how I felt when nobody knew who I was.
Yeah.
And I wasn't under the microscope and people weren't trying to take pictures of me everywhere I was going so that it would be like in magazines about what I was wearing. Like,
Mhm.
why do we care? Like that's my one thing too. Is like a celebrity walks out of the gym, they get a picture taken of, oh, they're coming out of the gym. Okay.
Yeah.
And like I don't understand paparazzi. I don't understand, like, I get that celebrities are paid a lot of money and I can understand why people, idolize them, but at the same time, it's really sad when I see people saying that celebrities are rude or they're taking like compilations of celebrities having looks at award shows or something. Like,
Yeah.
there was one of like Rihanna laughing at Ariana Grande dancing, and then people will
Mhm.
take that and spin it as like, oh, she's laughing at her. She thinks she's laughing at her in like a mean way.
Yeah.
I'm like, um, for one, how do you know she was even laughing at her? How do you know that what clip wasn't taken out of context? How do you know that she was even reacting to her? How do you know that she wasn't giggling at her because she thought she was adorable and she's like lifting other women up?
Mhm.
Like there's just so much that can be misconstrued, especially in media, to get ratings and to get attention.
Yeah.
It's just
Nah,
so sad.
it's insane how we have almost warped the image of a celebrity. Like, obviously, I'm no historian. I don't know the history of the entertainment industry,
Yeah.
but it's like from the vague universal knowledge that I know is like we started with, that classic Hollywood with like Marilyn Monroe and her tragic death. And it's like, are we, and we just continue to feed the idea of these people aren't people. They are idols. They are things. They are objects, and it's just downright cruel how that's kind of evolving to be worse and worse because of just like the internet and social media culture and like this idea that we feel like we need to know everything about this person. And it's
Mhm.
because from what I understand, like, with, like, late night talk shows for like, before the internet, that was, like, the only way you would get a glimpse into what celebrities' actual life would be um, like, what their day-to-day interests or "Oh my god, this celebrity actually shops at a grocery store? That's crazy." You would find that out on a talk show. But now, with the internet and with social media, these celebrities are like, "Hey, look, I'm doing a TikTok live in my Target. What should I get?" Um, so and that's no fault of theirs. I'm not, like, trying to blame the celebrities for, like, wanting to share their life through social media, but it's almost like because that's part of their job, that's something that their manager is probably going to encourage them to do is to have a really high social media presence.
Mm.
But it's just like people are like they just wanna take more and more
Yeah.
to the point where it's just like some of these celebrities feel the constant need to be performing all the time and to
Yeah.
be pleasant all the time, and it's like, sometimes I have no mental fortitude to interact with anybody, like, not even my family, not even my friends.
Yeah.
I just wanna be alone. So I can't imagine feeling like that as a celebrity, and you walk out on the streets and just some random stranger tries to force you to do something. Meanwhile, you're just like, "I'm in my sweatpants trying to get a fucking taco from
Yeah.
Taco Bell. I'm not no, I don't wanna sign anything. I don't wanna talk to you. I don't wanna hear your life story towards me. It's great. I appreciate you, but I am so tired. I want a taco and go home."
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's just like it's 'cause because we're so similar, um, I'm sure you also can't fathom why people are so obsessed over a normal person or just a guy. It's just a dude. Um, like it's great that his or her or their work impacted you so much that you like follow them throughout their career. Like that's great. And I'm sure they appreciate it.
Yeah, but they don't know you.
That
And
they don't know you.
no,
Exactly.
it's also I feel like maybe what's going through my mind right now is maybe it's if we really think about like deep down,
Hmm,
maybe it's having the acknowledgement of somebody that you see as higher than yourself, acknowledging you and acknowledging what you've been through and acknowledging um your existence. It's like that, it's like a boost of
yeah.
feeling good about yourself even for that one moment. Like I met Thomas Sanders
Mhm.
and I love that man. Like I uh exactly the same person that you see online is how he is in person and he's adorable. I we didn't talk for long, but like he he would try to at least have a few minutes with everybody after he took a picture, just like talking to them and whatnot. Um, so when I walked up to him, I was really insecure at this time because I obviously idolized him. And also,
Mhm.
I was at my highest weight. So I thought that I looked really fat and I thought that I was gross. And like, I didn't say anything. I just was kind of, I feel like my body language reflected that.
Yeah.
And I shit you not, this man was like, "Oh, you look gorgeous." And I was "Oh." Like, "Oh, thank you." He's like, "You got all dressed up for me." I'm like, "Ooh, I'm sorry, I'm awkward." He's like, "No, no, 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 no. If anyone is awkward here, it's me. I'm the most awkward person here." And he
That's
just
really nice.
yeah, he just made me feel so at ease and like, he's just a guy. He's just a
Yeah.
dude. Like, he's just a dude that would, like, hang out with you, but
Yeah.
people see him differently because of the success. So the success of people is, I think, in our society is almost measured by how many people have eyes on you and how much money you make
Yeah.
and, like, what you do. And in a way, I feel like our success should be not reflective on that, but reflective on what you do for the world, what you put into your society. Like, people like doctors and teachers and people who are working behind the scenes that don't get paid enough, like,
Mhm.
they don't get recognized enough. And celebrities do, but then at the same time, I'm like, at what point does a celebrity almost like lose themselves? Too with the fame because they have to be performative so often because even if they're having a bad day, like they don't want to talk to somebody and then it's twisted in the media as they're rude to their fans. They don't care about their fans. Like they probably just want to be left alone. Like I understand you're not going to get a lot of chances to meet your idol
Mhm.
and it's a bummer if they don't want to engage with you. However, it's you are not entitled to their time
Yeah.
or anything from them. Like, just because you see them on the screen and you know of them, that doesn't make them any less of a human being. So, a lot of celebrities now, like, on the same thought, I feel like some celebrities, don't want to be hounded, but then some celebrities also feed the fire of like they get caught yelling at their team or I need this, I need that. And some people really get into the fame and fortune and they revel in it and they act like
Mhm.
they revel in it. And so there's different people in celebrity life. I always like to reference Jim Carrey because I feel like he's kind of had a whole journey through like Hollywood and then getting out of Hollywood and working on his painting and stuff like that. And he comes out and he talks a lot about not the secrets of Hollywood, but like his experiences and he hints at certain things. If you watch a lot of interviews, especially recently, he talks about like how Jim Carrey is like a character and not a real person. And he kind of goes into a lot of spiritual rants and people think that he's insane. And I'm like, "But are you really listening to, like, what he's saying, though?"
Yeah.
Like, it might sound crazy surface level, but I've listened to him, and he's talking about how you are not seen as yourself anymore once you reach that level. You're seen as what everybody else wants you to be.
Mhm.
You have to stay on that to keep your job. It's like the worst version of customer service. Like it's just terrible. But I mean, I feel bad for celebrities that get into that life and then they're like, "Oh, I can buy anything I want. I'm living very comfortably, more than comfortably." But the cost is now I need to act like whatever my contract says I need to act like. And
Yeah.
then the people who are authentically themselves, like I know Chapel Roan yelled at a paparazzi
Mhm.
recently and was like telling him to like knock it off. And they were telling, I think they told Chapel to like shut up or something. And
Yeah.
Chapel was like, nah, not me. Like, don't talk to me like that. And then people were like, oh, Chapel Roan's hard to work with. She's rude, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, she stood up for herself. Like,
Yeah.
what do you mean? Like, what do you mean? Like, I'm not like pro or like against Chaperone or anything.
Mhm.
I don't know enough about her. I'm chronically offline, as I've said. But like, I'm just older, so I just don't follow a lot of social media people. I like, I think I've heard one song of Chaperones and that's it for right now. Um, but it's interesting to me how it's misconstrued so quickly,
Yeah.
and it's not in favor of the celebrity. It's sometimes people are like they'll see it as it is and like, "Oh, they're shutting down rude interviewers," and I like to
Mhm.
see that. But, like, it's very black and white. You either see the celebrity as a good person or a bad person and not just in between of everybody has bad days,
Yeah.
and everybody has moments where they're either really on it or they're not, and, like, Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo crying at the Wicked press tours constantly. People are making fun of them and saying, like, "Oh, are they okay?" Well, I'm like, maybe they're really passionate about the project that they're doing. Maybe it
Real.
means, like, so much to them that they're emotional. Like, I know if I had been casted to play Elphaba, I would have been emotional in every single interview too, like,
Yeah.
100%. Like, that character literally saved my life. That's what got me into singing.
Mhm.
So, I get it, and, Ariana Grande has said the same thing about Glinda being her dream role. So, I I personally don't love Ariana Grande as a person. I feel like she's a great singer, um, but I don't know her. I only know of her and the things that I know of her, I'm not sure. I'm kind of like I wouldn't say that I would hate her. I would just say like I'm not sure I'd want to be friends with this person. I don't think I
Right.
can relate to this person at all. And I think it's more just me growing over the last year or 2 and trying to think of things differently and changing my perspective of I they don't need to it doesn't need to be one way or the other. It can just be, okay, I've heard these things that she's done, but then also I don't know her. I don't know how
Mhm.
much of this is true. I don't know how much of it is falsified for media.
Yeah.
I have no idea, but I'm neutral when it comes to her. And I think that despite me being originally upset that she played the role of Glinda, I saw how much it meant to her and putting aside my kind of feeling apprehensive, um, it just I think she did a really good job playing Glinda. I think that she brought herself to the role that it was not Ariana Grande playing Glinda, it was Glinda, and she worked with Kristen Chenoweth, who was the original on Broadway, and that, she had so much in this that, yes, I don't agree that, like, she should have been, like, hounding the director for so long, but I'm glad to hear that she auditioned. I'm glad to hear that she was given the same chance that everybody else was.
Yeah.
Um, and you can tell that it means a lot to her, and it's just kind of one of those things where I think people are so focused on their emotions. "Oh, they're crying all the time. Stop crying." I'm like, these are literally people who are living their dream right now. You if
Yeah.
even if you're not an emotional person, wouldn't you feel touched talking about this? Like,
Mhm.
and they're holding hands, so now there's rumors about them, like, being together, and I'm like, so I guess gal pals can't hold hands anymore
Yeah, like
without them being gay. Like, I when is holding hands a sign of being in a relationship? It can't just be, like, something supportive of, like, when I go to get my blood drawn, and if my wife can't go with me and my best friend goes with me, like, she'll hold my hand.
yeah.
Like, "Are we together?" No, like, it's a comforting thing, and
Mhm.
it's nice to see 2 women support each other, especially in Hollywood. It's nice to see a close bond like that, but then everybody in the world wants to make something negative out of everything. Like, we can't just be happy and be positive. There always has to be that one person that's like, "I'm not happy with my life, so I'm gonna make it everybody else's problem."
Yeah.
And then people follow suit because they wanna be a part of something. They don't wanna be outcasted. So, that's a lot of I just went on a rant, but it
No,
comes
that's
down
it, like
to that. Yeah.
yeah, that's a very fair rant because I feel like, because people have, like, so much emphasis on, out of context stuff, it's almost like they just feel like they have to grasp at straws to
Mhm.
get any information to be the first one to drop new information. It's always a race to be the person who drops the latest news on a celebrity, whether or not it's true, which is entirely an entirely different conversation about the ethics of journalism that I won't get into, but
That's
it's
another
just
podcast topic of, like, drama channels and crap that we'll get into.
write that down, write that down.
Write that down, write
Uh
that down.
But it's like, I also feel like because there's, like, this huge, call for being the person who drops the latest knowledge or, like, the biggest secret about a celebrity, it's like celebrities will get doxxed
Yeah,
because even though, like, yeah, it's public knowledge that, uh, this person owns a house, like, that's gonna be public knowledge. It's the fact that you are putting people in danger just so that way you can say, "Oh, I know where they live," or I know their actual name rather than their stage name. I know their whole I'm gonna talk to them. I'm gonna refer to them as by their birth name to their face, even though they don't know who I am, and that's
right.
creepy. Like, if
Yeah.
someone came to me and just legal name dropped me, I would be like, "You're fucking crazy. I
Yeah,
don't know you.
right.
Go away." Um, and it's like but fans and worshipers of these celebrities don't see that as, like, a bad thing because in their mind, they're like, "Oh, we're so close. I know your legal name."
Mhm. The
And
parasocial relationships are crazy.
they are. Parasocial relationships are really crazy because, like, I can't like, it's I'm flabbergasted. Uh, because I just can't imagine being that into somebody to the point that you cross that line of wanting to be in their personal life. Like, I'll be the first to admit it that there is, like, some parasocial relationship going on between me and the streamers that I watch because I watch them so much. I enjoy their content, I think they're funny, I cheer for them when they get roles that they want or, or play games that I like, but I'm not gonna be like go up to them and be like, "Oh, I know your social security number." Like, that's weird.
Right,
That's there's a line that I know like, there's a screen between us, and I know that, and I like and if that person that I'm watching ends up being, like, a really bad person, um, and, like, I feel hurt by that,
right.
it's like, even though he didn't do anything to me, I can still be like, "Well, that was kinda shitty thing to do, now I gotta reevaluate how I feel about this guy." Um, which is, like, another thing, it's like, I feel like celebrities aren't allowed to be gray, they're only allowed to be black or white
Mhm.
to a
They're
lot of
not
people.
allowed to make mistakes either.
Yeah, like, they're not allowed to make mistakes, they're only either really good people or really bad people. Um, it doesn't matter their past, it doesn't matter their background, it doesn't matter their personal experiences. Um, they make a mistake 10 years ago, now that mistake is with them forever, no matter whether or not they were actually famous 10 years ago or not.
Right.
Um,
And
so
people
it's
will,
like
like, dig for that shit too, like, they'll, like,
they
dig and
do.
dig and dig and be like, "I wanna ruin this person," and it's like, this you don't even know who this person is, like, what is your problem? Like,
Yeah, that's
just, like, literally leave them alone, like, leave Britney alone, like, stop.
mhm. And it's not and it's like the inverse of celebrity worship where it's just like these people hate these celebrities for no reason other than the fact that they just don't like how popular they are, or they just
Yeah.
like, you can not like a person and not wanna have a reason for it.
Mhm.
Like, you can be like, "Oh, I don't like this actor," and everyone's like, "Oh, why? Did he do something bad?" And it's like, "No, I don't like him."
Not my
And that
style.
yeah, it's like you don't need a reason to not like an actor, but some people feel the need to be justified, and so they dig for evidence and they dig for, um, past actions, and then they're like, see, I told you he was a bad person." And it's like, "Dog, he was like that was, like, in the '90s. You weren't even a thought yet." Like
Yeah. It's and I think it's just the insecurity of people shining through because it's like, I need to feel like I am a part of something, whether I begin that something or I follow suit. Like, I believe people saying, "Oh, I don't like this person because of XYZ," and then I just blindly accept that.
yeah.
Because I need to feel I have the need to feel wanted and to feel like a part of something to have people agree with me because I don't wanna feel like I'm pushed out.
Mhm.
It's a lot of people who are insecure and trying to find meaning in their lives that latch on to even the smallest things like hating a celebrity to be relevant to other people instead of actually thinking long and hard about, "Okay, why?" Like, I had a rune reading the other day in Salem, Mass, and it was amazing. And one of the things that, the reader told me was, "You think about the whys." Like, if we go back and we think about the whys of situations, then we really get more perspective onto why that situation happened. Like,
Mhm.
this person is saying that they hate the celebrity. Why? Because the celebrity said they didn't like cats. Why? Because the celebrity had a trauma of cats. Okay, why? And then it goes into keep asking why, and it goes back to the root of whatever caused this, if you really think about it. And maybe the root is the celebrity didn't like the cats because they got attacked. And then the person who is not liking the celebrity loves cats, could never have a cat. So by saying I like the celebrity, but they don't like cats. Oh, now I can't relate to them and I'm upset with them. So that's the disconnect there. So now I'm just gonna hate them for not just that reason, but any reason.
Yeah.
Just give myself something to do and a reason to hate them because I need to feel like I need to back that up now that I've said it.
Mhm.
I can't change my mind. Like, and you can change your mind. You can always have a different opinion as you get older and you mature. You can always rethink situations and people, and you don't have to agree with what other people say about the person. Like, you are the only person whose opinion matters to you. Like, if that makes any sense. But
Yeah.
like, your opinion is your opinion, and opinions are like assholes. Every single person has one. Like,
Mhm.
you know. So it doesn't make sense to me why people go on like these crazy go down these crazy rabbit holes to try to destroy a celebrity, one, who doesn't even know you exist, and two, has such a big reach that it wouldn't even matter.
Yeah.
At the same time, like, these celebrities have handlers, they have publicists, they have people who take care of that. A lot of times when celebrities post like apologies or something like that, it's not even them writing it.
Mhm.
You know, if it's a huge celebrity and it's like a text on Instagram, like that a lot of times is just a text that was written by their team to be like, this is what you need to say in order to get out of more trouble. But even then, it people don't care and they don't see that as genuine. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it doesn't matter if it's written by the celebrity or written by their team, no matter what, it when you have done something in the public eye and people don't know how to have their own opinions
Mhm.
and are afraid to stand out from the crowd, they will just blindly accept what's said about somebody, even if they met that person and actually hung out with them. You might think very differently.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I have a question for you because I'm pondering this and I don't know if you agreed with this or if you have thoughts, but do you think that so there's Hollywood celebrities in my mind, there's different kinds of celebrities. There's the Hollywood celebrities, that's, your actors, your actresses, usually in TV shows, big movies. And then there's YouTube celebrities, strictly on YouTube. Sometimes they go into TV shows and stuff, but they're mostly known and grew on YouTube. Do you think there is a stronger worship culture with YouTube celebrities versus TV celebrities? Because that's how I think it's going, but I'm curious about your thoughts.
I think that at first when YouTube was a thing, no,
Mhm,
because it it really just started out as a fun way to share videos on the internet. Now that people have gone from YouTube to movies or YouTube to something very successful, I think that line has been blurred. And
mhm,
so now YouTube is almost seen as the way of not the easy way of getting into Hollywood, but like a step
yeah,
to get noticed, at least to put yourself out there if you don't have the resources otherwise to like go to LA or go and meet with people. Like, that's definitely something that I can see. Like, for me, having my singing covers out, like, I would love for one day if, I had somebody who was like, oh, I love it. Like, let's work together. Cool. Um, but I don't expect that to be a reality. I think that people assume that when somebody is starting to grow on YouTube, that they're automatically on the path to becoming successful and being a bigger household name.
mhm,
And that's not the case. Like, there are many people who have a lot of YouTube success and they're just comfortable in their life and they don't move on to doing Hollywood or anything because they don't want to. They just wanted to like play games or something. And then their channel blew up and it's a success story and
yeah,
good for them, but I think it also discounts a lot of people that are actually doing some of the actors and actresses, I won't say all of them, but doing the work in Hollywood to, like, get where they are,
yeah,
and they're not doing YouTube. They majored they majored in performing arts. Like, they started as a kid actor, as a child actor. They have, like, there's all these different avenues and there's different steps that people can take in order to achieve that success, and
Mhm.
not everybody gets it. There's a lot of risk and, things that you have to settle for when it comes to that, which is why I think it's interesting things like the what is the word? Channels like Smosh,
Yeah,
which I love. I love their channel.
I love
They
Smosh.
I love Smosh. And they make fun of it being like, "Oh, all the Disney like child actors come on and work at Smosh." But like it's kind of like it's a nice thing because, in a way they have something to bond over and
Mhm.
different they have different upbringings, they have different stories and life paths, but they can share that one experience with each other and work together and still be acting. Maybe it's not in the way that they want to be acting. I'm sure that they all would like to, at least some of them I know have gone to do commercials and movies and, but that it's a gig by gig process. And
Yeah.
when I was younger, I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that that's how Hollywood worked, which is why my parents were like, don't put all your eggs in one basket with the acting stuff because
Mhm.
you have to be really lucky or really good and have a really good agent to get constant work.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen for everybody. So it's nice to have something to have that is stable. That's still what you love to do. And so I like to watch Smosh because you get to see these actors who genuinely enjoy being around other actors and being around other
Mhm.
creatives. And they're a lot of them are millennials and they make fun of that a lot too. And I appreciate the millennial humor because I am also a millennial. Um, and people still idolize them to the point of, I'm sure when they have fans come up and meet them, that fans are, sometimes uncomfortable towards them.
Yeah.
And you also have to like think about that person. How do I respond to the situation? I can't
Mhm.
rude. I can't like be like, you're freaking me out, bro. Like, because then they're gonna see that as, oh, you're rude or oh, you didn't like me because of XYZ, and it'll be taken out of context. So it doesn't matter if it's Hollywood or YouTube, it doesn't matter as long as you're in the public eye in some way. There might be people who become obsessed with that person, whether it's in a good way or a bad way. Like, I don't think there's ever a good way to be obsessed, but like they're obsessed with them in like a worshiping way, or they're obsessed in like, I want to ruin your life way.
Yeah.
And both of those, there's no middle ground. There's no gray area of, oh, I see you as a person and I enjoy your work. And when you're younger, it's harder to see it that way because you're so excited, and there's nothing
Mhm.
wrong with that. But don't be leaking personal information. Don't be sharing, like making up stories about somebody or like, you know, there's just been so much of that in the world, and
Yeah.
celebrities go through so much already that we don't see. And we just assume that we know because of what we see in the media. That's not even like an eighth of what these people go through every day.
Mhm. I agree. Do you think there's like, because obviously, celebrities are just people. We've made that point. Like, we basically beat that point
Yeah.
dead with a rock. But but I guess like conversely, like because they're in the public eye so much, do you think there is almost like a sense of responsibility for celebrities to, you know, be vocal about social issues or to be um on the quote unquote correct side of things? Because obviously most of that can be like very up to interpretation, but like, do you feel like there is almost a pressure from the general public towards celebrities to have an opinion on anything
Yeah.
political or anything? Like, because like,
Yeah,
not
absolutely.
like, not to bring up Chapel Roan again, but, but it's like, because I remember vaguely one of her controversies that I've heard about. I'm gonna probably get all the information wrong, but the gist of it is like, what I heard from someone else who heard it from someone else was that, she was talking about, I think, the election that just passed between, good old 47 and, Kamala, and she said that because of Kamala's stance, like, she didn't have, like, the most vocal, strong stance against, um protecting those in Palestine, that she did not feel comfortable voting for Kamala or 47. Um,
Mhm.
and so a lot of people were very upset with her for voicing that opinion. And it's and, like, what I guess that brings back to the question of, like, did she have the political responsibility to be like to hide that opinion of hers and be like, "Oh, no, vote blue," or, like, "Oh, vote this way." Obviously, celebrity endorsements do matter, but do they have to endorse to prove the fact that they're, like, a good person or they care about rights? Like, if you wanted someone's true opinion and then they give it to you, and it's not the true opinion that you want, what you can't be mad at that, I would think. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
It's like people being assholes, like,
Yeah.
you ask and then you don't like the answer, like, I'm personally somebody who doesn't understand a lot of politics, like, I
Mhm,
understand certain things. I majored in, like, women's and gender studies, so I mainly am educated when it comes to human rights, like LGBTQIP+ rights.
mhm,
Um,
mhm.
I'm not very educated when it comes to, like, oil and gas and taxes, and I'm like,
Yeah,
"I
yeah.
don't understand any of this shit." Like, I don't get it. So, I'm not gonna say anything because I don't understand. And
Mhm.
so I think a lot of people just again, it goes back to, like, you either need to be on our side or their side, and it's us versus them. It's like that episode in SpongeBob where they're having a snowball fight, and it's like, Squidward's on my side. No, that's not. He's on my side, and it's like Squidward's like, no, I'm not on your side either. I'm on nobody's side. Like I'm just here. Like but that's not allowed in society because society's like, well, you need to be a part of something. You need to be either with us or against us, and there's no in
Yeah.
between. And that's a horrible way to think about things. Like people can have opinions and not like I don't feel like people should be getting harassed for, you know, how I don't know. I For that, I think it for a celebrity, they do have I think some level of responsibility
Mhm.
to voice those opinions because they have such a large reach that it's important for them to talk about hard topics and important topics because they can help with their reach educate the masses on
Yeah.
why these topics are important, why these rights are important. I also feel like though they should not be forced one way or another just to appease the public eye or like have to go against their morals or their beliefs just to stay like safe.
Yeah.
I feel like it's like a way of keeping them silent and keeping them complacent where they may not feel that way. And I think that like politics get really dicey because politicians are all like shady. I feel like
Yeah.
all of them. Like they're
Absolutely.
because people in general are shady. So going into power is just going to make you more shady. Like it's like the worst kind of celebrity. You
Mhm.
all eyes are on you. And I think it's people all have different opinions and they all have different morals and instead of us like seeing it that way, I think people want to they wanna demonize everything instead of the things that need to be actually demonized.
Yeah,
Like,
I
yeah,
agree with that.
the
It's
issues that
like
be demonized need to be demonized, but if it's
mhm.
something as, like so I don't know a lot about, Chapel, not I don't know about that situation, so I'm not really gonna
Yeah, yeah. Uh-huh.
comment on it, but, I mean, if Chapel Roan came out and said, "This is my opinion," like, that's her opinion, and she's allowed to have an
Exactly.
opinion, like, it's that doesn't mean that she's like, "Oh, go," like, middle finger to whoever, and
Mhm.
it just maybe she's unsure, maybe there's you don't know what's going on. You don't
And
know.
even
Yeah,
yeah, and even then, it's like I would rather a celebrity tell me with their whole chest an opinion they genuinely believe because
yeah,
that, you know,
be real. Yeah,
like be real, be yourself because like
yeah,
I'd rather a celebrity tell me straight up like, "Hey, I think trans kids should die." So I can be like, "Okay, so your opinion doesn't matter and I'm not going to support you anymore."
right.
Because cuz at that point, if you're being your real authentic self, you're going to find people. So if you're a good person and you're loud and proud about the good things that you believe in or the opinions you have, you're going to have that support. But if you try to hide opinions or hide your thoughts, it's like, are you really a real person or are you just being a little piece of shit and being like a little PR angel just so that way you could steal my $20 to see your movie? Like it's it's one of those things where it's like I'd rather a celebrity even if I don't 100% agree with their opinion, I'd rather hear them have an opinion on something that is very nuanced than to be like, "Ah, yes, 100% for this one. That's the correct one, correct?" Like, it sounds so disingenuous if they just regurgitate what everyone else is saying.
It's kind of like they have, like, a gun to their head for truth,
Yes.
kind of, like, it's like, "Well, just say the right thing or else," like and then it goes into,
Yeah.
like, people thinking that they're responsible for that celebrity success, "I'm the reason that you're famous, like, my
Mhm.
$2 listening to your song on Spotify is the reason you're No, you're not. Like, you're a
Yeah.
part of the reason they're famous, and I'm sure they appreciate you, but don't get cocky. Like,
Mhm.
they're famous because they got famous for themselves. They have talent, you know? And some
Yeah.
people don't really have that talent. But you know what? It's subjective too. Like people that are so entitled to think that they're the reason somebody has success is a very arrogant way of looking at things. And then that
Yeah.
goes into the same thing of like, well, because I helped you become successful, you need to agree with me or I'm not going to support you anymore. Like,
Mhm.
this person is still gonna be doing what they're doing with or without your support.
Yeah.
They're gonna go on living their lives. Like,
Yeah. They're still gonna
whether
act, they're
yeah,
still gonna make music.
they're still gonna do what they're gonna do, and if you wanna kick the wall and scream at the wall, like, go ahead, but, like, you're not gonna get anywhere except you're gonna just hurt yourself. Like,
Mhm.
you need to, like, do something productive. If you don't want to support somebody anymore, don't support them. You don't have to make it everybody else's problem. Just don't support them and go about your business.
Yeah.
There's no reason for needless drama and spreading more negativity into the world that we already have too much of. And it's always, you know, we're always so divided as people that the idea of us ever coming together on anything seems like so far fetched, like it's never going to happen because
Yeah.
people all want to be right. And it's either they're right or it's like they're right and you're wrong. There's no community, there's no agreement, there's no middle ground. It's just constant chaos. And it's it's sad and it's frustrating because I can only imagine being somebody that has that kind of reputation and reach for people. Like I don't I don't know if I would be able to handle that because I would be like,
Mhm.
I have massive anxiety and I feel like I already try to like think before I talk because a lot of times, to be really honest, I feel like I sound stupid or like I go on like rants and I make no sense. So a lot of times I just either don't comment or I might repeat the same thing and just in a different
Yeah.
way. But to me, it's because I'm like, I, I don't, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, so,
Yeah. It's like a lot of pressure for
right.
sure. Like
Yeah.
I also I I would rather die than be a celebrity, even if it's like something that I would oh, I would love to get my art out there. I would love to be like well known and stuff, but it's like I'd rather just be in a hole. Like I don't even try like obviously there's gonna be pictures of me out there because I live in a digital age, but
Yeah.
it's like I try to not be associate my image, like IRL, like my actual form with, my digital space just because I'm like, I don't want anyone to know who I am or what I look like because that is a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
And again, it's a lot of anxiety to be known as like, "Oh, hey, I've seen your face before. You're this guy." And I'm like, "I know I'm not. I'm just
Oh,
a
God.
guy."
It's my doppelganger.
Yeah, it's just like, "No, no, I just look like him. I'm actually here for bananas."
Yep.
Uh, like, I don't why are you talking to me? I'm in the grocery store. Like, that's again, like, my biggest fear is, like, being known as anything.
I think it's like wanting to be comfortable. I think a lot of people
Mhm,
think of fame as like, I don't want to struggle anymore. Like, I don't want to, have to like some people get into it for the right reasons. Like for me, I would love to have a wider audience, but not like to the point where I don't feel a need to go to Hollywood and be famous and blah 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 blah. Like I just feel like for me, my goal at the end of the day is to have a comfortable life where because of the chronic illness that I have, like working 9 to 5 is difficult for me. I still do it, but it's
mhm,
difficult like, if at some point I could just work for myself and make enough money that I could support myself, my family, and the people that I'm, working with, that's the dream. I don't have to make millions of dollars, but I would love to be able to be like, hey, you know what? Let's get pizza and not worry about it.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
I
Like,
agree with that.
very comfortable, like a good middle ground. I don't need a Ferrari. I don't need a big house. Like, I don't need any of these things that as a kid I was like, oh, I would love to be like famous and have 3 mansions and but as I get older, I'm like, I just want to be able to go out and go on random dates with my wife and us not have to worry about groceries or gas,
Yeah,
things like that, and it doesn't have to be a lot, but it just comfortable, like, just
yeah,
successful enough that people enjoy the work that I do, and I can work for myself so I can take some of that pressure off of myself when I'm sick,
mhm,
and, it feels like it would my goal would be to be able to do that because, 1, I have the ability to put these stories out or put my voice out and do those things that allow me to have a creative outlet, but also give back to the creative community. And I would love for that to be my full time job. But I also acknowledge that that's a very difficult task and that doesn't happen for everybody. And I'm okay with it not happening for me. Like, I feel like I manifest that I will be successful, but I also feel like I'm successful in other ways in my life. Like, I'm
mhm,
successful in the way of I've learned a lot in the past year. I've grown a lot as a person. I have done so much work on myself just in the past year that it's insane how quickly and how drastically you can change your mindset. You can change yourself for the better or for the worse. Like, just, you being a normal Joe or a celebrity, they can change and they should be allowed to have that change in that journey of finding out who you are as a person and what what calls to you and calls to your heart and soul. That's
Yeah.
what's important at the end of the day. You are with yourself at the end of the day. Like having people agree with you is great, but what is the cost if it's something that you don't truly believe in or you're not standing behind it. You're just doing it so that you don't get people being assholes to you. Like,
Mhm.
and I think there's so much entitlement now with the internet and with media that, even in interviews that I've seen with like celebrities and they ask the guys like about questions of, what's your workout routine, blah, blah, blah. And then they talk to like the women who are like, oh yeah, you're wearing like the sexy cat suit. Like, did you have to like eat anything specific? I'm like, that is a personal
That
like
is, yeah, that's
question. Like, why don't you ask them like you're like essentially asking them what kind of underwear they're wearing? Like it's
yeah.
can you talk to them about who they are as a person, maybe their process of getting into character or like anything
Mhm.
outside of their appearance? And as a celebrity, a lot of times you are reduced down to your appearance. And then your appearance factors into like your talent. And I think that there's moments where it does matter. Like I feel like people who see celebrities getting very, very sick, clearly, um, they say something because maybe they do honestly care. And it's good that the community in those ways come together. But you have to think about it in a way of not shaming that person because that's not going to help. It's just more trying to give words of encouragement and words of like, hey, we noticed that you look a little thinner. Like, you
Yeah.
are you okay? Do you need help? Like, and then putting that responsibility on the team around them because those people are handling this person. They are responsible directly for this person's health.
Mhm.
They need to be held accountable. If you're like, "Oh, I own you," like, as you're now the person that works for me, you're my talent, you need to take care of that person then.
Yeah.
Like, you don't own them. They can do whatever the fuck they want with their body. You need to make sure they're okay. You need to make sure that, if they're not on their A game and they're not okay, they're not healthy, they're not gonna be able to do their job.
Yeah.
So that's directly not only affecting them, but you as well as their manager or their handler or whatever. So the internet saying, "Are you okay?" I think that's something that's good when the community comes together to share concern. It's
Yeah.
not okay when they're like, looking like a skeleton, dead emoji." Like, what is
Like, you
that
don't
gonna
gotta be
help?
mean about it.
Right. Like, what is that gonna help? Do you feel better? Do you feel better about yourself? Like, uh, what is that gonna do other than make somebody feel worse about themselves?
Mhm.
It's not helpful. You're not funny and you're not smart. You're not like it's just one of those things when I see comments like that, I'm like, you clearly have nothing better to do with your own life than to like sit here and try to shit on a celebrity who is just trying to survive
Yeah.
like the rest of us. Cause they may not have to worry about money, but that doesn't mean that they're not worried about other things,
Yeah.
you know? So they could be dealing with a lot of things that we don't see. And especially with people online who are constantly harassing them or doing these horrible things, like, it's just a lot, it's very layered, and
Mhm.
it comes with, like, a lot of, like, "Oh, well, my talent got me here, and now this is what I have to deal with."
Yeah, which is a terrible position to be in. Like,
Right.
it's like, "Oh, well, this is what I have to do now," and it's like, "No, that no."
Yeah, and then you don't know who your real friends are half the time when you
Yeah.
reach a certain level of fame, a lot of people are like, "What can I get from you?"
Yeah, which is
It's
very
terrible.
disgusting. Yeah.
Right, and that's how the world is, and I keep saying, like, as I go into my spirituality, I'm like, if we reincarnate, I hope to God I'm not reincarnated again. I don't wanna be here, bros. I wanna live on Mars. Like,
I wanna be like a bug for
I
a
just
little
wanna
bit.
be
I
like
think
a bug.
yeah, you know what? I wanna be a bug at least, like, 7 times, and then we'll loop around. We'll see how I feel.
Right. Like, just I think we're humans have the ability to be, like, the greatest thing that's happened to the world and the worst thing that's happened to the world at the same time,
Yeah.
and, there's just a lot of, like, I don't even know what the word is, but it's so human beings are so complicated, but I feel like if everybody had more self-awareness and able to self-reflect on things, we would be able to move towards a better future as people and try to come together, but I feel like at the same time, unfortunately, in the way that people just are naturally wired, like there's going to always be shitty people and there's always going to be people who are like, "Nah, no, I'm right and you're wrong." And
Yeah.
I'm not willing to budge because I can't have a mature conversation or see your side because that means that I'm wrong. That doesn't mean you're wrong.
Yeah.
It just means
No.
that you're having a conversation with somebody. So to me, I would hope that I see a lot of comments of people like, "Oh, celebrity worship is so cringe. Stop worshiping celebrities." And I'm like, "Well, it starts with you.
Yep.
You're saying it's cringy, then just don't do it." And don't
Yeah.
engage with people who are doing it. Don't give the attention to people. It's
Yeah.
a lot of people who are like, "Oh, you need to fight back. You need to say words because this person's saying something about you." Why? I don't care what this person thinks of me. Like, I know
Mhm.
who I am. The people that love me and care about me know who I am. I don't need to prove myself to you. Like, especially if you're somebody who's hell bent against if you're somebody who's hell bent on making me look bad or just hating me,
Yeah.
why would I even try? Because anything that I say or do at this point, you're just going to turn around and be like, I'm going to turn that into something bad. There's no use talking to you. You do not have a mature mindset. So, and celebrities don't get that option to have conversations with people like that. They just have to deal with it. And if they don't have a really thick skin, I can only imagine they're going through comments and seeing things and videos made about them and
Mhm.
things put out in the and it's so upsetting, and this is why some celebrities have, passed in the past because it's like just having all of that on you and not feeling like you know who you can trust and where to turn to and where to vent. It's like you're trapped in the world's smallest box.
Yeah.
And I'm not famous by any means. Like, I don't have any notoriety at all. And I
Me
can
neither.
still,
It's fine.
yeah, I can still sit here and empathize with people that do and be like, God, like, I know I can understand why celebrities have breakdowns or,
Yeah.
they have moments because it's like you are so controlled and under a microscope that at some point the money you make just isn't I don't even feel like it's enough. Like, and then you're in it, you can't get out of it if you're under a contract with somebody. Like, and there's scandals out there all over the place where celebrities have come forward after that and have said, I finally got out of this situation. And then a lot of people will support them but that doesn't stop the situation from happening again either.
Yeah.
So it's just a constant revolving door of pain. And it's sad to watch. Like, people can't just do what they love and enjoy doing what they love without fearing that some random person is gonna make a video about them, and then all the other sheep are gonna flock,
Mhm.
and then they're not gonna be able to do what they love anymore because they said something 10 years ago that was off color, but not actually, like, damning.
Yeah.
Know what I mean? Like, and, just to be clear, we're not talking about people who have actually done, like, serious bad things who need to be held accountable and
Like felonies. We're not talking about
right,
people who have done felonies or were
right.
accused of doing felonies. Like,
Yeah,
we're talking stuff like, um, bullying a kid in high school or middle school, and they're like in their 30s now, where
yeah,
it's just like, okay, you're a different person than you were
right.
as an
You
angry
were
middle schooler.
yeah, you're a dumbass kid. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I thought humans were allowed to grow and mature and change and, like, when you have life lessons, that's what they're for.
Mhm.
Like, there's not one person in the world who is perfect, who has never done anything wrong or said anything wrong or hurt somebody. We've all hurt somebody.
Yeah.
We've all been hurt by somebody. Like, nobody is perfect. Every single person in the world makes mistakes, some more than others. And what really matters at the end of the day is you being able to see that you made that mistake, acknowledge it, and grow from it because that makes you a
Yeah.
better person. If you're like, I made a mistake, but now I feel bad and I'm a terrible person and no one's ever going to love me, like, and you spiral, that's another way you can think about it, but you're never going to progress in your life if you think about it like
No.
that. Like, one of my bullies from middle school, high school, actually, I don't even remember when it was. It was during college, but she was my best friend in middle school and then going into high school. And then high school, she she believed a rumor that was going around about me. At the time, it was literally that I was bisexual, and I was a very good Christian girl at this time at home, and I was very upsetty spaghetti about what
Yeah.
was being said. And you know what the rumor started with? You wanna know?
What?
Literally, somebody came up to me. This is ridiculous, okay? Somebody came up to me and was like, "Rain, do you like bananas or apples better?" And I said I liked both.
Oh my god, that's
And that
so stupid.
turned into
So
the
stupid.
entire school saying that I was bisexual and I was gonna go to hell.
Oh my god.
Ru Really? And then my friend was like, "Oh my god, we can't be friends anymore." And I went home crying on my fucking birthday
Oh no.
because I was so upset. And here I am, married to a woman. But like,
Which could mean anything. It's
right.
totally uncorrelated,
Right.
unrelated.
I always had the feeling that that was it, but there was so much shame that came with it because of how I grew up. And, like,
Right,
my
obviously.
family's obviously grown a lot too, and they at first were like, "No," but now they're better and
Yeah,
they've
yeah.
accepted, but it's stupid things like that, that even it was word of mouth, so, like, it got around the whole school just because people talk, and then that's, like,
Yeah.
the same thing. That's before the internet was even a thing. Like, it all starts with a rumor, something stupid, and then you go home crying on your birthday because people think you like girls because you say you like apples and it resembles a vagina. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm sorry that I enjoy a variety of fruits. That does not make me
It's
fruity. Like,
it's Rain, I think it's more like how you eat the fruit than it is
true,
what the fruit
true.
is.
Yeah, that's exactly how it is. And it's the dumbest thing. And so after all of that, like, I was traumatized because of that, because it was like the whole
Mhm.
school was making fun of me, and I wish I was joking, but I wasn't. Like, it was just toxic, and then years and years later, I'm pretty sure it was, like, age, like, 22, somewhere around there, like, after I
Mhm.
graduated from college, and, like, a little bit after that, she had messaged me, and she just was like, "Hey, I don't expect a response or forgiveness, but I just wanna acknowledge, like, that it was that plus, there was, like they formed, like, a gang at school, and
Mm.
she was a part of that, and then they were sending me, like, death threats in my locker and shit, and it just was, like, a whole situation that was crazy, um, and she was like, "I was stupid and young, and I want to apologize for the pain that I caused you,
Mhm.
and just let you know that I'm trying to be a better person now." And I was like, "Girl, apology accepted. Like, I hope you're doing good. Like, I hope you are doing well and you were being a queen. Like, blessed be, girl. Like, I hold no ill will towards you now. Like, just."
Yeah.
And that's all it takes sometimes is
Mhm.
people just acknowledging and just saying they're sorry.
Yeah.
And the people who can they can hold grudges and they can be like, "I'm still mad at you." Like, okay, that's a choice.
Yeah.
Or you can have less weight on your heart and soul and be like, "Oh, thank you. I acknowledge that. And I don't feel like we would be compatible as friends, but I wish you no ill will. And I'm glad that we were able to close that chapter and have closure."
Mhm.
And I mean, at that time, I would say that in that friendship specifically, I would say that I didn't do much to apologize back to her, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. Like, um, I definitely have stories I can tell about, like when I've reached out to somebody, like I reached out to my ex a couple years ago who I know that I really upset, and I apologized to her, and now we're friends, and we talked about what happened, and we were like, there was a lot of misunderstandings that happened with the breakups, and we were both very young at the same time as well. Like, I was like 19, and
Mhm.
but I know that I really hurt her and I really hurt her heart, and so when I apologized to her, we had a whole conversation. I was crying, she she was crying, and we were just, like, letting it all out, and, she's married now and I'm married, and we're still friends. We don't talk a lot, but we vibe. Like, I'll see you on TikTok and I'll be like, "What's up?" She's like, "What's up?" Like, like, it's the maturity, like, and it's just being able to be like, "I acknowledge that I'm not always right. I had something to do with this." Like, you can't always apologize to the celebrity, but you can start by being a better person and taking those steps to see things from a different perspective other than only seeing up to your nose.
Yeah.
Like, you have to really evaluate why the situation happened and what you did to contribute to it. Like, and maybe you weren't as in the wrong as somebody else. That doesn't mean that you didn't do anything wrong. It doesn't mean that you don't have anything to take accountability for. But people in our world now are like, nope, you do one thing and you're damned for eternity. You're not allowed to grow. You're not allowed to change. You're not allowed to have any redeeming qualities about yourself at all.
Yeah.
It's a very immature, childish, and negative mindset to have.
Mhm.
And that at the end of the day, for people like that, who do that to people that they barely know, celebrities, people that they know, like I have a family member that's like that, and he's just miserable. Like, he's in his 70s now, he has no friends, and he's just miserable because he doesn't talk to anybody about what he's feeling. He doesn't do anything about it. He just holds it all inside and just is like, "Yeah, well, I hate everybody."
Which is just a tragic way to live.
Right. Like, you just live alone, and he had a dog, and when his dog passed, like, he had no one because he pushes everybody away. He's
Mhm.
never like had a relationship. He doesn't have friends. He just lives alone, and just like, I haven't talked to him in so long because he doesn't even wanna talk to his family, and it's all it would take was, like, a conversation, and I was the only one for a long time that reached out to him or called him or said anything to him, and
Wow.
yeah, like, out of my entire family, we're Lebanese, we have a big family, like, I'm just saying, like, we'll go to, like, I went to a family get-together when I was younger. It was, like, 300 people that were
Oh
like,
my
"Hey, girl."
god.
I was like, "I don't know any of you. I am overwhelmed." But I would always try to reach out to him and have a conversation with him, and anytime I'd ask him, like, "Oh, you have a girlfriend? Or what are you doing?" Like, trying to be whatever, he's like, "Oh, I don't do that. Oh, that's a stupid question." Like, and it just very like talking to a brick wall. So,
Yeah.
as much as I would love to reach out to him again, I stopped after a while because it just like it was since I was a kid till even in my 20s, he just never engaged because he just wanted to be a hermit. And that's it. He didn't join us for holidays. He never calls anybody. Like he just is in a like in a box. And it's so sad because I see his soul. I don't know what he's been through because he never talks about it, but I see his soul. I know he's a good person,
Yeah.
but he never lets anybody in. He never takes any accountability. He never has conversations with people. He just sits there and spirals and just lets it consume him. And that's a way that I never want to be because I don't want to die alone. Like
Mhm.
I don't want to die thinking that there was nobody around who would even notice if I was gone.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even know if he passed away. Like I don't even know like how anybody would know because he doesn't talk to any of us.
Mhm.
Like the only way we would probably find out is like if he listed somebody as an emergency contact, which I don't even think he has. To be really honest, I don't even know if he's alive right now.
That's
Like
insane.
it's really sad. And
It
like as a
is.
kid, like I loved this man as a kid. Like he did some weird shit, but like, he's not a bad guy. I think he's kind of one of those people that's like the world owes me something and because I'm not getting it, I'm just
Mhm.
gonna be a recluse and not talk to anybody or even try. And that's like an extreme example, but it's in my immediate family. So I always use him as an example of like, don't be like that.
Yeah.
Talk to people. And if they're not willing to talk to you or have a mature conversation with you, then move on. It's not worth your time. If you're ready to have mature conversations with people and grow as a person, that's great. But not everybody is in that same boat. And not everybody's willing to do the work.
Mhm.
And that's sad, but you can't force somebody to do something they don't want to do.
Yeah.
So yeah. The same thing with celebrities. I feel like they have to do that work too. It's not just us, average Joes. Celebrities have to have the mindset of, if I do something, it's broadcasted, more people see it.
Yeah.
And so I need to, but I also feel like celebrities feel the need to like explain themselves to people. You need to explain yourself to yourself first.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Work on that shit within yourself first, because otherwise you're just performing.
Mhm.
So people, I feel like, always feel like they need to perform in order to be accepted as people. But I also feel like at the same time, we need to be able to fail and to make mistakes and to grow from them to be considered human because we can't just be perfect all the time or bad all the time. That's not
Yeah.
realistic. So, yeah, I mean, that's my spiel.
Well, I think we've been talking for like an hour. So
Yeah.
I think that's a really good message to leave it on
Yeah.
because just like look for that connection. Um, and don't, like if you're going to grow as a person, do it for yourself. Don't do it just because society is calling for an apology. If you don't
Yeah.
mean it, you're not gonna mean it. Like it's not it'll just make things worse if you get a quote unquote call out for for an opinion you have and you immediately are like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Totally, I'm so sorry." And it's like no one's gonna believe you. It's not gonna help. Um
No. No, work on yourself. That's the
yeah,
first Gotta do. You gotta sit
Mhm.
with yourself and be uncomfortable. You gotta be uncomfortable.
Yep. We gotta
First
be
step.
uncomfortable, and also
Yeah.
respect people and their boundaries and and all that stuff that celebrities are people too, and they deserve both criticism and respect, for their lives and what they do.
As does everybody. And self-reflection hurts. It's supposed to.
Yep.
If you're self-reflecting, you're like, God, I'm such a good person. You're not self-reflecting. Like, chill on your ego, boo. Like, you're not self-reflecting if you're not finding anything wrong that you've done or anything that you can change or better about yourself. Self-reflection is always the core of making you a better person because you have to really dig deep and find out, think about yourself from another person's perspective that you've had conversations with or that you've had an issue with. Like, if I were this person, and this takes empathy, which some people don't have, and that's very sad. If I were this person and this happened to me, how would I feel?
Yeah.
Is this really worth me doing this? Is this worth me saying this? Like, how would I feel if all of this was happening to me? That is how you start self-reflecting because then you feel like, oh, this person has feelings too. Crazy. Just because they're a celebrity, a celebrity. I didn't even say why my even though they're a celebrity does not mean that they're not a person. Your job does not mean you're not a person. Like, I would respect a janitor as much as I would respect a celebrity.
Mhm.
So just my advice um would be like I don't have my tarot cards up here, but maybe I'll start doing that next time. Um at least what I'm hearing is really sit with yourself for at least a good 5 minutes a day and just reflect because that is what I've been doing. Thinking about pick something that happened in the past or something that's currently happening that you're struggling with and really sit down and you don't have to do anything. You can just sit quietly with yourself and just think and just feel. And some people can't do this like for different reasons, but the people that want to better themselves that genuinely listen to this podcast for you know, relatable reasons and wanting
Mhm.
to be better. Like, I'm not somebody who's like, I'm higher than thou. I'm giving you advice. Like, I'm telling you what I do every day. And what has really helped me in the past is like going through situations where I'm like, oh, I'm mad at this person. Wait, why am I mad at this person?
Yeah.
How did the situation actually play out? Let me see this from every point of view that I can and sit and reflect on it. Try your best to see everything from a neutral position and not from a, I want to feel right because if I did something wrong, I'll feel really bad about it.
Mhm.
Because just in general, you're always going to do something wrong. You're always going to end up hurting somebody, even if you don't mean to. It's just the way that humans are because we're not all robots. We're not the same. We have different opinions. You're always going to be wrong in somebody else's eyes.
Yeah.
And the only way that we can come together and be more united as people is having that more mindful mindset of seeing each other as on the same level. We're not better than each other. We're not worse than each other. We all have to sit and do the work, which is in, spirituality, do that shadow work that's really uncomfortable within you, that really makes you think about things that you've done and said and reflect on that and use that as a way to better yourself as a person. If it's uncomfortable, you're doing it right.
Yep. That
And
that's
yeah.
and that's that on that.
Yep. So closing thoughts are stop worshiping celebrities. They're just people. Like, be kind to everybody. Nobody's better than anybody else. And try to really better yourself every day. A little bit every day helps. And don't spread negativity because that tarnishes your heart and your soul. That puts a lot of weight on your person that you have to carry around. And it's just nicer to be lighter and positive. So
Mhm.
work on that. Work on trying to see things in a nicer, more positive light, see situations in a more positive light, and use that as a way to better yourself as a person. So, yeah, thank you guys for listening. And we will be back probably. I've been posting like once a month for podcasts so I can kind of schedule them out. And that's been working. If I'm able to do more often, I will. But for now, the scheduling out has been good. So at least we're getting one out a month. So not a lot, but quality over quantity. But yeah, Gabe, thank you for joining me.
It's always a pleasure.
Yes. And do you want to tell them where they can find you?
Sure. You can find me also on YouTube as Galen Quest, Gaelin Quest on YouTube. I do art videos sometimes. I'm working on a video now that I just need to record the audio for and
Mm.
edit. But that's just me and my procrastination. But yeah, that's where you can find me.
All right. Awesome. Well, we will be back soon with another podcast. And until then, sending everybody love and light. Take care of yourself, drink water, and be kind.